Have you ever wondered how something that was once at the pinnacle of its game could fall from grace so swiftly? Well, that's exactly what we're about to uncover today. So, stick around until the end, because the story of Unicorn Darts is a fascinating one. Back in 2008, Unicorn was a powerhouse in the darts world. They had 4 world champions in their ranks, the likes of Bob Anderson, John Lowe, John Part, and the legendary Phil Taylor. But that's not all. They also had young talents like James Wade and Adrian Lewis, who were already making waves and experiencing major winners like Peter Manley and Kevin Painter. Unicorn's team didn't stop with players. It extended to iconic figures like referee Ross Bray and the voice of darts himself, Sid Waddle. Not to mention, their dartboard was the official board used in PDC events, dominating the scene since 1997. In fact, 6 of the top players in the world at the end of 2008 were throwing Unicorn darts. The only notable absence was world number 2, Raymond van Barneveld. But then, like a sudden twist in a gripping plot, everything changed. In April 2009, Unicorn pulled off a jaw-dropping move by signing Raymond van Barneveld on a 6-figure, 4-year deal. A deal that sent shockwaves through the darting world. The signing was nothing short of historic and marked one of the biggest deals in the history of the sport. Fast forward a couple of years, and Unicorn was at it again. In May 2011, they signed the world number 3 at the time, Gary Anderson, on a 3-year contract. This meant that Unicorn, at one point, had 7 of the top 8 players in the world. Gary Anderson, just 3 weeks after the announcement, clinched his first PDC major title by beating fellow Unicorn player Adrian Lewis on a Unicorn board. It was a golden era for the company. However, my friends, as we know, all good things must come to an end. That glorious Unicorn era we just revisited is now a distant memory. Today, Unicorn is a far cry from what it once was. In the PDC's top 15, Unicorn doesn't have a single player to its name. James Wade and Ross Smith, ranked 16th and 17th respectively, are the best they've got, with Gary Anderson and Kalen Ritz being the only other players in the top 32. Not only that, but Unicorn boards are no longer gracing the stages of PDC events. In 2022, after an impressive 25-year sponsorship run, Unicorn decided to step away from the spotlight. It was a decision that left many scratching their heads. So, what went wrong? Was it a conscious decision by Unicorn, or did they fall victim to circumstances beyond their control? Many fingers point to the rise of target darts as a reason for Unicorn's decline. The exodus of players from Unicorn to Target was a significant blow, but is that the whole story? Target Darts was quietly building its roster, and while they may have started with just a few top players, they had their sights set on greatness. In early 2011, Target had only 3 players in the top 32, Mark Walsh, Colin Lloyd, and Alan Taburn. However, the turning point came in October 2011 when Adrian Lewis, who had recently clinched his first world title with Unicorn, made a momentous decision to switch to Target. His move was a statement of faith in Target Darts, as Lewis believed they produced the best darts in the business. Although Lewis stumbled in his debut for Target, losing to John Part at the World Grand Prix, he persevered and honed his skills, ultimately winning his 2nd world title at the start of 2012, just 3 months after the move. For Unicorn, losing Lewis must have stung deeply. He was not only a back-to-back world champion, but also the sport's brightest young talent. Unicorn was left to contemplate what might have been, but that wasn't the end of Unicorn's woes. In late 2013, rumours began to swirl about a major player announcement from Target in early 2014. Speculation was rife that this could only be one man, Phil the Power Taylor, and indeed, it turned out to be true. Phil Taylor signed a 5-year, £3 million contract with Target, marking a colossal loss for Unicorn. Taylor, who had been the face of Unicorn for 18 dominant years, was now switching allegiances. Unicorn continued to sell Taylor's darts in 2014 under the range name The Evolution of the Power. This decision, however, led to a legal battle, as Phil Taylor reportedly sued Unicorn for £100,000, alleging that they continued to use his nickname on products. Losing Taylor to Target was undoubtedly a seismic shift, but Unicorn Darts had more turbulence to weather. In 2017, they were hit with another significant blow when Raymond van Barneveld, a darting legend in his own right, followed Lewis and Taylor's path and made the transition to Target. Barneveld praised Target Darts for their amazing feel, fantastic appearance, and impeccable packaging, leaving Unicorn with yet another void to fill. Now, while Target may have initially lost some star players, they swiftly replenished their ranks with other big names. However, here's where the plot gets even more intriguing. Some of those replacements too eventually departed from Unicorn. Take for instance Michael Smith. Back in 2013, he joined Unicorn when he was ranked 34th in the world. Over the course of a decade, he transformed into a world champion and reached the pinnacle of the rankings. In 2023, Smith, after a decade-long partnership, made the surprising move to Shot Darts, a much smaller company in comparison. Similarly, Dimitri van den Berg joined Unicorn as a teenager in 2014. He achieved major success with the company, including winning the prestigious match play in 2020 and back-to-back World Series events in 2022. However, shortly after these victories, he decided to switch to Target, continuing the trend of Unicorn stars finding new homes. Chris Dobie, a Unicorn player since 2016, had a standout year in 2020, securing his first major victory and earning a spot in the Premier League. Yet in the same year, he surprised many by leaving Unicorn to join Target, adding to the growing list of departures. Colin Lloyd, who had been with Unicorn since 2008, left in 2020, marking the end of a 12-year relationship. This exodus of talent didn't stop there. In the same year, several other notable players, including Devon Peterson, Kim Huybrechts and John Part, bid farewell to Unicorn. These departures were particularly impactful as many of these players had been with the company for years, becoming household names in the world of darts. But the problems for Unicorn didn't end with the loss of star players. Their reputation took a hit among PDC fans due to issues with their dartboards. In 2019, Michael Smith, who was sponsored by Unicorn at the time, publicly called out his sponsor in a tweet, demanding that they address the high number of bounce-outs during TV games. Smith wasn't alone in his criticism, as many other players, fans, and even darts legends like Eric Bristow voiced their concerns about Unicorn boards, which were deemed as causing an excessive number of bounce-outs. The issues with Unicorn dartboards didn't end with bounce-outs. They also suffered significant damage from the aggressive points used by some players, like Simon Whitlock, and Whitlock himself noted that the damage on the windmill boards, a competitor to the Unicorn, was far less severe with the same points. While it's not entirely clear how much of this damage was solely due to the board, it raised concerns within the darting community. In response, the PDC even decided to change their rules for the following year regarding the use of windmill boards. Tweets and comments from top players, such as Michael van Gerwen, expressing their dissatisfaction with Unicorn boards, only added to the company's woes. It wasn't a good look for Unicorn, and these public critiques contributed to their loss of credibility among professionals. In 2022, Unicorn took a significant step by stepping back from their PDC board contract, which they had held for a quarter of a century. Their reason for this move was revealing, shedding light on their struggles in retaining pro players. Unicorn implied in their statement that they wanted to shift their focus from the professional game to the amateur game. They aimed to make the sport as accessible as possible to all, citing YouGov research suggesting that many darts players desired increased access to boards for social games. To promote this shift, they launched the For Every Player campaign. Unicorn's MD defended the company against criticism of their boards, deeming it unfair. He asserted that Unicorn was the first company to measure board performance and claimed that in professional events, only 3 out of every 1,000 darts fell out. He placed the blame for many of the issues on the aggressive points used by players. The consequences of these developments was clear. Unicorn lost most of their top players to other manufacturers, and they relinquished the board contract to Winmau. Additionally, many fans began to view Unicorn products as inferior in design and value compared to the majority of other top brands in the market. Today, it appears that Unicorn's focus has shifted primarily toward the amateur game, with Gary Anderson standing as their sole remaining marquee name in the professional darts world. Unicorn's journey from being a dominant force in the sport to a company more attuned to the grassroots level is a remarkable transformation. Don't forget to hit the bullseye so you never miss out on any of our amazing darts videos. See you next time!